Hello everyone, I am Dr. Padma, welcoming you to all in this beautiful session of biochemistry. Today we will discuss about proteins. So, proteins are basically the linear chain of amino acids which are linked together by a peptide linkage. They are also broken down into smaller units by hydrolysis, and this monomer unit of protein is called as amino acids. Proteins are the polymers of the amino acids. Each protein has a specific and unique sequence of amino acids. Now, classification of proteins according to their biological role. Functional classification. There are several types of proteins, which includes transport proteins. Transport proteins are involved in the process of transportation, such as hemoglobin and albumin. Second, storage protein. They serve as storage form. Example, myoglobin store oxygen in the muscles. Third, contractile protein. They have ability to contract and they function in the contractile function. Example, actin and myosin. Catalytic protein. Catalytic proteins act as enzymes. Example, glucokinase and hexokinase. Next, structural proteins. Structural proteins serve as supportive framework of cells to give biological function, structure and strength. Example, collagen in bones, cartilage, elastin of ligament, etc. Defense proteins. Defense proteins are involved in the defense mechanism against the invasion of the foreign substances like virus and bacteria. It includes fibrinogen, thrombin and antibodies. Now, regulatory proteins. Regulatory proteins regulate cellular or physiological activities like many hormones. Now we will discuss the functions of proteins. As we have read earlier, the types of proteins according to their biological role. So this all points are the functions of proteins. Let's discuss it again. Functions of proteins. Proteins are versatile compounds and have many different functions of the body. It acts as catalyst and enzymes such as pepsin. It helps in transport of other molecules. Proteins helps to store other molecules. Proteins provides immune protection. It helps to generate movements. It helps to transmit nerve impulses. Here we have to see one important point, that is coagulation of protein is a permanent chemical change and an irreversible process. Now let us see again the classification of proteins based on their physical and chemical properties. Based on physical and chemical properties, there are three types: simple proteins, conjugated proteins and derived proteins. Derived proteins are again subdivided into two types, which are primary derived proteins and secondary derived proteins. First, simple proteins. Simple proteins are those proteins which yields only amino acids and their derivatives by hydrolysis. They are heat coagulated. It includes albumin, globulin, protoamines or proamines, and histones. Albumin is a water-soluble proteins. Globulin is insoluble in water. Protoamines or proamines is 70 to 80% soluble in alcohol and insoluble in water. Histones are basically basic proteins. Now let's see conjugated proteins. Conjugated proteins are made up of simple proteins combined with non-protein substances. Non-protein substance is also called as prostatic group. It includes nucleoproteins, glycoproteins, metalloproteins. Now let us move on. Derived proteins. First type, primary derived. Primary derived is also called as denatured proteins. Denatured proteins or primary derived proteins are formed by agents such as acids, heat, etc. Property: they are formed by without hydrolytic cleavage of the peptide bond. Example, metaproteins and proteins. Now secondary derived proteins. Secondary derived proteins are those substances which are formed in the progressive hydrolytic cleavage of the peptide bond of metaproteins. It includes peptones and peptides. Now, classification of proteins according to their shape. There are two types: fibrous proteins and globular proteins. Fibrous proteins includes keratins, collagens and myosins, whereas in globular proteins it includes alpha immunoglobulin and beta globulin. Now, let us see what is protein energy malnutrition or PEM. Protein energy malnutrition occurs due to protein and calorie deficiency. Symptoms of PEM: reduced body weight, muscle wasting, decreased strength, skin thinning, reduced respiratory and cardiac muscular capacity, decreased metabolic rate, etc. It also includes edema and immunodeficiency symptoms. Disorders of PEM. It includes two types of diseases, quotient and marasmus. Quotient is a protein deficiency, whereas marasmus is a protein and calorie deficiency both. Quotient is seen in toddlers. Toddlers means 1 to 5 years of age, whereas marasmus is seen in infant. In quotient, ribs are not prominent. Ribs are prominent in the marasmus condition. Abdomen is accumulated in the quotient. In quotient, lethargic patient or non-irritable patient is seen, whereas in marasmus, abdomen is not accumulated and marasmus condition have irritable patient. Muscle wasting is absent in the quotient condition and muscle wasting takes place in marasmus condition. Quotient have poor appetite and quotient need to give only protein, whereas in marasmus, ravenous appetite is seen and in marasmus condition need to give adequate amount of protein and calories both. So this was all about proteins and protein energy malnutrition.